All right, welcome to this weekend Sidereal Astrology forecast for Friday, November 20th through Sunday, November 22nd. My name is Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology, very different from mainstream astrology, which you can find more about down below. All right, so this weekend, a lot going on astrologically, and it could be a busy time. In fact, on Friday, not so much Saturday and Sunday, because on Friday we are still in this first quarter phase of the lunar cycle with the moon in Aquarius, but then the moon does shift into Pisces midday on Friday. So Friday, I feel like still that free-spirited energy of Aquarius, giving, contributing to maybe the community or organizational stuff is a great way of working with that. But then it goes into more of the dreamy, more of the internal and selfless energies of Pisces. And then on Saturday, we do enter that gibbous phase where it's a little bit more homogeneous, a little bit easier to work with, and perhaps not as busy in the big picture. So this is all in relation to this whole lunar cycle, which has been in Libra, perhaps involving interrelationships, especially with any new beginnings from last week, involving those interrelationships, involving having more balance and harmony in our life, maybe even more of a social or communicative energy. And that's going to be still the overall theme. Now, within that, Mercury is shifting into Scorpio this weekend, so things are certainly getting deeper. And this is particularly involving our minds with Mercury. So here it's our communications could be deeper. It could be just the way we see things. It's actually really good for like research and getting down to the bottom of things, but also expressing and opening up, ourselves in, through the vocal, through the interactions in our life. And on Friday, as you can see here, Venus is squaring up to Pluto. So it could be quite the intense weekend. And this, of course, can be in a very good, very deep way, which is Pluto helping us connect to those relationships in a much deeper sense, helping us get rid of any old psychological aspects of how we view relationships and our values, as well as just change happening there that's just, sometimes needed. So the key with that is to be open to that, and maybe there is some change that's needed here with our values, with relationships, and stepping into that sort of spiritual awareness of that. And through that non-attachment, when we're open to change, it just happens much more smoothly. Just comes into the picture a lot easier. So in that sense, I think it's a fantastic weekend for depth, for getting deep, really reevaluating, restructuring our values, getting rid of any old perspectives on those, and then naturally that builds the foundations for much deeper, much more compassionate, much more, connected relationships that are in alignment with, who we truly are. So that's going to be the strong emphasis Friday and Saturday, especially Friday. Also on Friday, that Mercury, who is shifting into Scorpio, will be sextiling up to the North Node. So there is a lot to learn, I think, about communication still in those interrelationships and maybe even the social aspects of life. So then on Saturday, when the moon is certainly in Pisces by this time period, we enter into that gibbous phase, supportive with the self-expression. The sun does sextile up to the North Node Saturday and Sunday, so there is that learning available in terms of how we express ourselves, maybe even tapping into that more playful and creative energy, which again could come easier. And then as we go into Sunday, we start to come into this new aspect here. Mars sextiling up to Saturn. In fact, it's very supportive with these energies right now because we've had Saturn squaring up to Neptune, and this is going to continue for the next couple weeks, involving that, discipline, that patience, and hard work perhaps towards our ideals, towards the future. And if we've been feeling any type of uncertainty, any type of doubt, which many of us have, it's about bringing in more of that constructive energy with Capricorn or with Saturn. And if you've been feeling like there's been a lot of weight, a lot of that hard work and stuff, maybe a little bit of that alone time. So anyways, with that, there is this very supportive energy going into next week with Mars, where we can have that patience. It can come quite naturally, and we can have that steady approach to these long-term goals or whatever it might be. So great for anything productive, great for moving forward in life in general, and that's going to be an energy slowly coming in on Sunday. So if you want to get that early start on the week or whatever it might be, could be a good weekend for those particular avenues of life. And I think just having that patient approach could come quite easy. One thing on Sunday also is the moon is going to be accessing that Venus square up to Pluto energy. So that extra tension on those relationships, that depth I think will be important. on Sunday, and then the moon does conjoin up to Uranus. So there is freedom. There is that lighthearted energy, maybe some more excitement in our life that's needed here on Sunday to mix up that routine. So in a nutshell, especially with Mercury going into Scorpio, nice, slow and steady, slowly over this next early part of the week, it is about depth. It is about seeing the truth. It is about conveying that, being open with self first primarily, and then naturally I feel like that's going to transpire in that healthful sense with our one-on-one connections, with our relationships. Friday and Saturday in particular could be quite healing, in fact, with the moon conjoining up to Chiron. Then Saturday and Sunday, more of that Pisces energy, easygoing, maybe getting that more presence, meditative approach to things, tapping into the intuition, listening to our dream space, and then more of that easier, productive energy going into next week from Sunday onward. All right, so that's the general energies. If you guys have any questions, please do let me know. Have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you all on Monday. Take care.